Food markets only.
Meet Susie Smart, she is so bright. On her blackboard you can write. She has a desk, she has a seat. What's your name, my dolly sweet?
My name is Susie Smart.
She can talk!
She can talk, but can she add?
2 plus 2 is 4. Cat, C-A-T.
You can spell!
Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how
You recite!
Press the button, she says a dozen things, complete with desk, blackboard, and seat. Susie Smart, sold at food markets only.
What's this stuff? Some cereal. It's supposed to be good for you. Did you try it? I'm not gonna try it. You try it. I'm not gonna try it. Let's get Mikey. Yeah. He won't eat it. He hates everything. He likes it. Hey, Mikey.
Well, what's on the television then? Looks like a penguin. Well, what's on the television then? Looks like a penguin.
Stop!
Good evening, cats and kittens, pups and pooches. It's Susie Q96, and it's time for Sweepin' the Dirt. Little chit and chat about metal detecting, which, if y'all paying attention, you know metal detecting is for finders, not losers. So let's talk about what we can find, and tonight we're going to talk about what we can do with what we find. Of course, some of us have no freaking clue. That's why we have these big boxes sitting in the corners of our rooms with all these weird little metal things in them, just sitting there. After you do the videos with them, or after you clean them up and show them off to your friends, not quite sure what to do with all that stuff. So we're going to talk about that a little bit tonight. I'm going to grab a bag of random JUNQUE out of one of my bins here. This is a little bag. Looks like primarily junk in there. That's not very interesting. Let's find something better. Ooh, that one's kind of heavy. Heavy. See what we got in that. Oh my goodness. This one's fairly recent. I may have already gone on visitation with this one right here. Not at all exciting. A lot of times that's what you get. Not at all exciting. You end up with a bag full of pieces, parts, and parts as parts that you really, yeah, let's look at this. Since I went halfway across the country to get it, we gotta, no, that's from Monday night. That's our one. That was our one Wheatie we found so far, but we've only done 2 rolls out of that box. So, anyway, maybe I'm being boycotted tonight or something. I'm not getting any people. Well, I can't help it. I almost didn't even do my show tonight because I feel kind of yucky. Kind of yucky. I don't know what I'm looking at here, but it don't look right. Let's go get some buttons. See what kind of trouble we can get into. Yee-haw, yippity-doo-doo. Why does it? There we go. All right, we screaming now. Yeah, I went all the way across the country last year. And the first beach I went to was in Reddington, where I got a whole bunch of nothing. But at least I didn't get the icky thing that Dawn the Metal Detective got. But I ended up with a bunch of TRASH. Like, there's a Florida Metal. Somebody loved me, showed up. Yeah. So anyway, I ended up on that particular adventure with not a whole lot. I got 2 tent stakes, some kind of plastic plug that had just enough metal attached to it to make a signal. Then I got this super crusty nail. I still have not resolved this lighting problem. I thought I had, but it does not seem that anything I have done is helping. We will have to resolve this. We're supposed to be moving some things around in this room tomorrow, so hopefully it will help me with the lighting situation. I don't know if my scope is just gone south on me or what, but it doesn't seem to matter where I point lights or do any adjusting, it still doesn't. That's a little better. Anyway, this is a crusty nail. Resplendent with ocean growth. Yeah, there's some barnacles. Yeah, this was last year at Reddington Beach, Florida. I just grabbed the bag out of the scraps. And then you have your assortment. You got your Sea Roner. You got your Sammy Adams. This one, I don't know what this goes to. It sort of looks like a lid, but I don't recognize it. Maybe came off some wine or something. Says something around the edge. I haven't really looked at these. And like I said, my lights are terrible. Yeah, always got to get the bottle caps. Monto something something something. I don't know. Yeah, unfortunately tonight somebody scheduled over me at 6 and 6:30. I've kind of lost my spot, I guess. I'm gonna have to maybe change times. I don't know. I don't know what this is. I think it came off of some wine. Then I got totally screwed. Didn't even get kissed. Didn't even get kissed. Hey, Rhonda. How you doing, sweetheart? Thank you for coming in. Then I got another nail. I hope we can do something with this room tomorrow. Yeah, that one's real crusty. These were old things, you can tell, and your token aluminum foil. But look how cool the design is on that. I'm guessing that came off of a wine bottles or something. So then canned slaw, which I think is from a Bud Light can. I got a nickel, I think. Looks like a nickel. Yeah, it's a nickel. And a penny. And of course, you got to have your poppin' toppins. If you don't get them, you haven't been detecting. That's just a fact of life. And why there was an eraser head on the beach, I have no clue. And then I think this came off of one of the little chairs out there. They have locks on them that you have to, once you pay for the chair, then they give you a key. And I'm guessing someone took off with the key and the vendor had to break the lock. Hi, Silver Slinky. How you doing? So then there's some little crumbs down in the bottom of the bag. And a dime. And the best find, which I have not even looked at, but I'm pretty sure it's not real. But I did find an earring. So we're going to look at that. But I don't think there's anything there. But there's a reason I'm showing you all this. And that is that I actually picked a topic for tonight. I was going to do a comparison of the old and new Simplex, but I'm still gathering info on that. So instead, I decided, so many of us have these boxes and bags of just assorted strange finds. I decided to do a little thing on what to do with. Hi, Bad Danny. Hi, Looterate. What to do with your finds. First, I want to look at this earring. So you can see it's got corrosion on it, so it's clearly not real, and I don't see any marks on it. That was the only thing that looked halfway hopeful on that whole trip. And I didn't do much better down at Indian Rocks when I went down there later. I think the next day I went down there. But what do you do with all this crap? You obviously find some good stuff, but then you end up with other stuff. And it just sits around. We almost knocked the tripod over. In my case, it sits around until I finish the video that they go in. And then I have to make a decision. Am I going to keep this? Am I going to throw this out? Oh, here's an interesting bag from Junk Park. From 2022. I think November of 2022. It's got some cool things in it and some serious junk. This was one of the cool things. Da, 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 da. And I'm guessing a kid might have had this in their pocket because it didn't fall off the uniform. It has the pin backs are still on it. So, but that was kind of a cool thing. And I remember that day, that was the first thing I found in the park. Found it in a tot lot. It's a big park down there. And then I found a pen and a great big piece of, I'm not sure what the heck this is. Some kind of bracket. It's huge. I don't have a second camera tonight, so I can't show you. We're working on that, but that thing's like 8 inches. It's huge. And then I have a beaver tail top. I'm showing y'all this for a reason. You'll understand shortly. There's a beaver tail. There's a aluminum. A poppin' toppin'. Part of the top of can. A bobby pin, a big bobby pin. I call these Fergie flippers. They're the liners from cans that have that obnoxious aluminum, and they sound so good. And I call them Fergie flippers because when I first started watching Robert Ferguson do beach detecting, he would get so mad. Oh, I'm sorry, James. No, I didn't block you, but I'm operating here with one eyeball. Okay, you got your quarters. Great. Hi, Furry. Yeah, see, I didn't say hi to Furry either, so I'm just a little out of it today. All right. So anyway, I named these after Robert Ferguson because he used to complain every time he'd find one. He'd go on this tirade about how bad he hated them. So I call them Fergie flippers. Then I got a John Jameson and Sons bottle lid. 1, 2, 3, 4. More pull tabs. A weird piece of metal with one bead on the end of it. It may have come off an earring or something. I have no idea. There's another part of a beaver tail, another bottle cap. And now there's actually some change and stuff in the bottom of this bag. Now, I've never looked at the change to see if there was anything good in it. 2021 quarter. What's this? Oh, that's a dime. I thought it was a penny. This is from the crappiest park in town. 1990. I wanted to go detecting today, but I've been sick, and so I didn't get out. 92. Bottle cap. Another pull thing. Piece of wire. I think it's got copper in the center of it. A different kind of pull tab. A chewed up zinkin. Really chewed up. Oh my God, look at that thing. Ooh-wee. Oh, and then this was really cool. This was a surface find. It's like a huge, I don't think it's a marble. It's just a big round glass orb. And I can't really get the color to come through on the screen, but it's like amber. And it's almost an inch across. It's pretty cool. I might make a piece of jewelry out of that. Another pulley tab. That one's green. Probably off a Monster. Oh, isn't that pretty? Isn't that a lovely coin? Yeah. And then I got a quarter. And there's a couple more things down in the bottom of here. Little bitties. Don't know what they are yet. Oh yeah. 2 pieces of pull tab. And then this little thing, I remember finding this and trying to figure out, I think it came off like a Hot Wheel or something, or a jacket, but it's a little tag with little metal bars on it. It's kind of bent, so I can't really tell what it came from, but it says waterproof. So, yay, Mikey! Chicken tender. Oh, he's having children tenders. Watch out. So that's kind of a typical day at the junk park, where I just found random things. There wasn't a whole lot of good stuff in there, but there were some interesting things. The army thing was good, and the waterproof thing was good, and the big glass marble was good. So that leads us to a big question, a whole bunch of big questions. Now that you got all this stuff, what exactly are you going to do with it? I mean, obviously, you might find something pretty cool and want to preserve that in some way. So I was just making some thoughts on what can we do with all this stuff. So I got me a little index card out here and wrote down what to do with your detecting finds. And the number one thing was try to identify them. Hey, Tom, welcome, welcome. A lot of times I find things I have no idea what they are. Like, I know that's a tag that says waterproof, but where did it come from? Did it come off my detector, which is waterproof? No. Come off somebody's clothes? Don't know. Don't know. The park's not waterproof. But anyway, I gotta grab my drink. I got sidetracked. I forgot to bring my beverage with me to the party. Everybody get you a beverage while I do this. All right, here we go. I got one. I poured it. I just didn't bring it with me. All right. So, whether you can identify it or not, you still got to figure out what you're going to do with them. So I made a list of 7 things that I know of you can do with these things. Number 1, if you have something cool like military medals, I've got a couple of them. You can display them in little cases or cabinets or frames, and you can get frames pretty cheap, shadow box kind of things. I have actually gone to the Dollar Tree and found little shadow boxes in there and taken the backs off of them and taken whatever junk they have in them in there and put my stuff in there instead. Second one I was doing was using some of these things in craft projects. Like, so I sold it, and somewhere I have a picture of a piece of art I made out of nothing but nails, all kinds of nails that I found, and I just arranged them in a design, and I poured some epoxy over them so they would stay where they were. Hey, Johnson families! And then I gave it a title called Nailed It, and I ended up selling it at one of my craft shows for $75 to a guy that had a construction company. So I kind of did that. And I did another one where I made a giant flower with a peace sign in the middle, all made out of flattened bottle caps. And I sold that one. So you can use a lot of these things in craft projects. A while back, I showed a craft project where they used all these eaten up zinc and pennies and some epoxy and made coasters. So uh, I have a project in progress that's been down in my storage for a couple years that involves a whole bunch of different pull tabs. Hopefully, I'll get that finished someday. Uh, then another thing you can do is, especially with tools and relics, you can clean them up and restore them and use them or sell them. When I first started out, I would find tools all the time: screwdrivers, pliers, wrenches. I found a great big ratchet handle, a Craftsman, one time. I sold that. I got good money for that one too. Now I'm skipping over the jewelry part for the moment but that's the next one on the list, so I might as well go there. There's a couple things, actually multiple things you can do with jewelry. Broken pieces, if they're not marked but they look like they might be real, you probably want to get a test kit to check them out and make sure you're not throwing out something that's 14K, like a little part of a chain or a half of a ring or whatever. Obviously, if you find the whole piece of jewelry, you can do a number of things with those. You can sell them, you can give them away, and you can attempt to return them to the owner if it happens to be something like a class ring or a wedding ring with a date and initials in it. A lot of people don't know that with the class rings, they're usually marked as to what company made them. And if you go to that company's website, a lot of those sites have a registry where you can list lost rings or found rings. Now, the way they have them set up, you're not giving out so much information that someone who doesn't own it could come and claim it. You have to be a little bit smart on that. But I have helped several people get class rings returned using my genealogy abilities of finding families. I have been able to return some of those items. One little caution I want to give you is, just because something is marked 14K, 18K, 925, that doesn't mean it is. Older items you're pretty safe with, but there's a lot of new stuff out there. Like, I bought a bracelet not too long ago, and it was listed as being 925, and I'm still going to keep the bracelet, but I gave it the old magnet test. Now, the bracelet itself did not stick to the magnet. Bracelet looked pretty good, but then the magnet stuck on something, and I'm like, what? And it stuck to the tag that they had put on the bracelet that said 925. In fact, I think I can get that bracelet. I'm going to show you this, because you know, I see people all the time in their videos, and they find something at the beach or at the park, and it's got a 925 or whatever stamped on it. And then they go to try to sell that item only to find out it's not real. I found a bracelet down in Georgia. I mean, this thing tested as being 10K, but turns out it was just 10K plated, but it was marked 14K. Now, here's my little bracelet that I bought for myself because I like music, and it had all these little cute music notes on it. See the tag right there? 925. I mean, it's such a cute bracelet, and I'm a big music person, so, and the price was pretty good, so I said, okay, I'm gonna get me one of those for my personal thing. Like I said, the magnet didn't stick to the bracelet, but then as I was putting it away, it stuck on that tag that says 925. So now I'm going to have to get my test kit out and find out what's going on with this bracelet. I have a strong suspicion it is not sterling. Yeah, it's a really cute bracelet, and I'll wear it anyway. But just the idea and the irony of the tag saying 925 being fake. So anyway, that's just my little side note there on jewelry. Make sure you're pretty much going to have to test anything that's newer, because a lot of these cheap websites send you things. I found rings before that they were marked 925 and wouldn't pass the magnet test. I can pretty much tell when I look at silver, and that didn't even look right. Yeah, I intend to do that, William. I'm going to do a whole video on, I have a whole box over here of broken jewelry that the clasps have been pulled off of. That's probably how they lost it, was they broke the clasp. So yeah, we're going to do a whole video on that as soon as I get a little space to work in. But yeah, there's a good example right there. I just got this, and it's a really cute bracelet, but I don't know what it is now, because silver and gold don't stick to magnets. That's one of your first things. Put a little magnet in your finds box or your bag, and that way, if you get something out in the field that you're not sure about, that can be your first test. Just see if it sticks to the magnet. So anyway, you got a lot of options on finds as far as cleaning them up, restoring them, selling them, but everything under that is pretty much going to have to go back to the very first thing I told you, which is you're going to have to identify them. I'm going to have a few items up here that I have no idea what they are. I show those periodically, and I encourage you, if you have a photo of something you found and you don't know what it is, send it on over. We'll talk about it on Sweepin the Dirt, see if anybody recognizes it. I showed one a couple weeks ago. I found it about 2019, I think it was. No, early 2020, when I was down in Florida and I was detecting with Florida Thunder, digging with Rob, and He didn't know what it was either. We had no clue what that was. Another thing you can do with all these oddball things you find is give them away. After a while, you don't really need them anymore unless there's something that you just really like or have sentimental value. Found an 18-karat gold chain, had a 14K stamp. Found out that if the clasp breaks, some jewelry shops will replace them with whatever they have in stock. That is also true. Absolutely true. I make jewelry, so people have a tendency to just like give me bags of broken jewelry and stuff that they don't think has any value. And I have found several where chains have been repaired. In one case, I found a 14K chain with an 18K clasp because that's what the guy had, I guess, when he fixed it. And I have also found it, as you did, where the chain was higher than the clasp. So, yeah, test kits don't cost that much. It's a pretty simple process to test your items. Although I saw a lady on the jewelry channel the other day. She had a test kit, but she was absolutely clueless how to use it. All she had out there was the little stone. And how you use the test kit is you scratch your item on the stone, and then you have to put the acid on there. Oh, hi, Paula. So anyway, she's just scratching it on the thing and saying, well, that looks gold, and going on to the next. She never actually tested it with the acid to find out if it was gold or not. And I could tell by looking at some of those pieces, they weren't. But anyway, I got a little sidetracked on the returning to owner thing. Like I said, a lot. No, James, not yet. They were ordered. They have not come in yet. I will let you know when they do. I did get some black cord. They're not chains. They're just cords that are 24s, but the chains are on order and don't know when they're going to come. I'm not sure that the lady actually keeps them in stock too much because not that many people order the longer chains. So I just have to, I'm kind of at the mercy of where I order them from. Another thing, like I said, you can give items away. And I just saw a great one done Easter by Park Rat Pat. He had so many things accumulated that he was just giving away Easter eggs, plastic Easter eggs, and they had little notes inside of them. So you didn't know what you were going to get. And then if you won one, he opened it up and it would have like Digging with Deej got a harmonica reed and a coin, I think it was, in hers. I haven't gotten my egg yet, so I don't know what's going to be in it, but Pat just gave away a whole bunch of odds and ends, relics, coins. I don't know yet, James, because I had to, I ordered more than one, so I'll have to break it down. Are you just interested in the chain, or did you want something on the chain? Email me and tell me exactly what you're looking for, and then I can give you a better price. I don't really like to do those in my metal detecting stream as far as something that I've got to look up because I don't want to tell you wrong. Oh, and I found something I'm going to give you by the way, uh, as I was cleaning the other day. Yeah, I thought that was a great idea that Park Rat Pat had of giving those things away, because then that gives you the option as the winner of them. You know, you might think that's a really cool thing, and Pat might have found 100 of them. Like, I've never found a thimble. I always, that's one of my bucket list things because I've never found a metal detected thimble. Now I know Pat's found several of them, or tokens, or you might think it's the coolest thing ever. Somebody else may have 20 of them. Uh, and if you don't want it, you can always put it up on your show and say, hey, these are some things I found. If anybody wants them, just let me know, and I'll send it out to you, because it doesn't need to be. Yeah, there you go, Johnson family. Yeah, a lot of people want to find the thimble, especially a silver one. But yeah, I thought that was a great thing that Pat did, was just start distributing those things. Another thing you can do, especially with relics, and it doesn't have to be a fancy relic, a war relic or anything. Like, I live in a town that's got a lot of really old Victorian homes in it, and I got to search the yard of one of them. And I thought I was going to find coins and all that kind of stuff. I really didn't. But I found some interesting relics. And we have a little historical museum here. And I just, yeah, right. Horse wouldn't stand still. Yeah, I've got a couple horseshoes that I found. But anyway, I had just some odds and ends from that house, and I've got them in a little box, and I'm going to take them over and donate them to that little local historical society museum. Things like spoons and broken toys and some buttons, where I found several of the same button. Oh yeah, that's another craft one that I did. I've got one started that I'm doing a design out of all kinds of buttons. Uh, then you've always got the just big pieces of junk metal, you know, like brackets and can slaw, aluminum cans, pull tabs, pieces of wire, all that kind of mess. And when I lived in Georgia, I had all these little plastic tubs on my back porch, and I would sort all my metals into those. I had one for copper and one for brass, and aluminum cans and pull tabs and all the aluminum things. And I would load them all when they got full. I'd load them in the back of my car and take them to the recycle center. And even though it doesn't seem like it adds up to that much, uh, even a small little tub of copper would bring pretty good money, and brass. Of course, your iron, you're not going to get that much, but I would take it all down there and recycle it and get back enough money to pay for gas for my next uh, trip to go detecting. So, if you have any other suggestions of what to do with some of this stuff, we'd be happy to hear them. Uh, and then, you know, one of the things you're going to have to do. Oh yeah, and then there's always your clad, especially when you got clad that looks like this. I mean, this is just spending cash. There's no collectible value to it. And a lot of people get all freaked out, but you really got to clean this stuff if you're going to put it in like a coin star or something, or if you just want to spend it. So you might want to pick up a cheap rock tumbler. You can, one of the best guys for showing how to do that with all of your giant amounts of clad. And that's the gig master. He periodically cleans up a bunch of clad and then takes it down to the coin star. If you do that, be sure to separate your copper from your other clad. The copper doesn't mix well with the other metals. And then I got one more, and I'm only going to throw this in because I've been mentioning copper and brass. I once found a huge, it was actually a handle for a door, and it was brass, and it was huge and heavy. I think it came out of like a church or some type of commercial building, but it was nasty, and I couldn't see what detail or anything was in it. And this old man that lived in the same complex with me told me how to clean brass with without having to do a lot of rubbing and scrubbing. And this was a big piece too, and I actually got quite a bit of money for it once it was cleaned up. But the formula is pretty simple. There's a thing called precipitated chalk, which basically it's calcium carbonate powder. It's very inexpensive. Thank you, Paula. I hope you feel better, sweetheart. I know you've had enough for one day for sure. So you go get some rest, and thanks for popping in. Anyway, calcium carbonate is actually something that they use in brewing cider and beer, because apples and fruit, and they also use it in winemaking. Calcium carbonate will cut the acidity of fruit and other things. So he told me, get a bucket, put in 2 parts distilled water, 2 parts denatured alcohol. So like if you're putting in 2 cups of distilled water, you're going to put in 2 cups of denatured alcohol. So it's an even measure. And throw a little bit. He didn't say how much. He just said, just throw in some of the calcium carbonate powder. You let your items sit in there. Even though it's not super toxic, the fact that it's got alcohol in it and that powder, I would wear gloves. I wore gloves when I did this, and let it sit in there. I actually used an old paintbrush and just scrubbed this thing with it, and this door thing was beautiful. I ended up selling it for over $100. Anyway, after it was cleaned up, then you put a rinse bucket that has a bunch of water and some baking soda in it, and you rinse it with the baking soda and wipe it dry with a soft towel. And I mean, it doesn't matter if it's a big piece or a small piece. I've cleaned small pieces of brass that way, little pieces of trim work off of furniture and stuff. And that's a pretty non-toxic way to do that. And like I had one thing, I wasn't even sure it was brass until I got it cleaned up, but I threw it in there. And you can use that cleaning for copper or brass. So there's your little tip for the day. And if you have any other ideas on what to do with some of these weird finds, uh, post them down in the comment section and we will investigate them further. Uh, I was supposed to go to the storage today. I did not make it because I was puny. And that's what my brother said, that I was puny. I woke up with a lot of intentions of doing things that just didn't happen today. But I'm going to try to find something for end of stream. Oh, and I won last night. I won a prize over on Digging with Deeds. I won a big old sticker pack. And I forgot how many stickers are in it, but any of the ones that turn out to be duplicates of ones I already have, I will offer up. Oh, here's a good little giveaway. If you're a guy, you might not like this, but you can give it away. But since somebody made I believe it was Florida Metal Detecting, made a remark about finding horseshoes, but he couldn't get them off the horse. We got a little pair of horseshoe earrings from my critter collection. We did manage to get these off the horsey. And they've got some little brown and gold beads on them and little horsey shoes. And I found them in the giveaway box. I think those were left over from Christmas. So we're going to give those away. And I'm going to do a guessing game if I can find the item in question. I found a coin. I'm going to put this away. The other day, I started to mention this in my stream the other night and got sidetracked. But I found under my old computer a silver quarter. Yeah. Based on the wear and tear of this poor baby, guess what year you think it is? Yeah, I know, Florida. I was tidying up my wig today, and then I decided I may not even wear my wig. I'm just going to let everybody see my hair, how it is now. Hi, 710. Anyway, how we're going to give away the horseshoe earrings is in the stream, post your guess as to how old you think this silver quarter is based on the condition of it. And the person closest without going over will win. So everybody get their guess in. It's pretty weak. But I don't know how long it's been under my computer. So we're just going to play a guessing game tonight. I haven't eaten yet. And tomorrow we're going to try and rearrange some things in my living room so that I have a little bit better space to broadcast from. I'll be real happy when I get to Michigan because that apartment is bigger than this one. And I have a copy of the floor plan for it so I can see how I'm going to set everything up there. Like, one of the problems with this apartment, it only has 2 little bitty closets. The one I'm moving into has about 30 more square feet in general, has a much better layout, and it has a coat closet, a pantry, a linen closet, and a bedroom closet. So I have way more storage. Plus, it has 2 balconies, one outside the living room and one outside the bedroom. So I'll have a lot more space to work with. My plants will not all have to live in the house except in the winter. But even in prep for that, I was gifted a small portable greenhouse, which right now I have all my plants on this one table with stuff around it to keep M3 from getting in there because I have cacti. There's Kit. Hi, Kit. So tomorrow we're going to take this big table out and set up the much smaller but closable little greenhouse and put all my plants in there. So that will give me more room to set up my broadcast area. I can have my sticker boards, and when we get the new computer going, we'll also be able to switch over to OBS, which means we'll be able to have games in the stream. Speaking of my stream, while we get the last few guesses in, because now my screen says there's 12 people in the house. I went to check my watch hours today, and the last time I checked, it said I had 2,070. And I went in today and I only had 2,038, which means YouTube has been subtracting hours from me again. So if y'all would go up to the top of the live stream, there's a link up there to one of my almost all-inclusive playlists. And if y'all would turn that playlist on at night when you go to bed, just turn your volume down and let those videos run. Maybe we can get my hours back up, because I'm like, people are telling me they're watching and yet the number's going down. I'm like, what the heck? Oh my goodness. All right, are we ready to see what year? Oops, I don't want to leave. Okay, let me go back up here to the beginning. Okay, I think that's the beginning right there. We're looking for closest without going over. That's the tricky part. So let's flip this bad boy. I don't know where this came from. I may have won it or something, but I found it under my old computer. 1935. That's an oldie but a goodie. Okay, 38. Eller's over. Florida Metal is over. 710 is over. Williams over. Archaeology Mikey is over. Furry's over. Kit is over. Everybody's over. Well, let me do something else then. I'm going to just grab a Wheatie that is from a previous adventure, and we'll do the same thing. As soon as I can put my hand on a Wheatie. None of these are Wheaties. I keep grabbing pennies. Oh, we'll do something even better. This isn't even a Wheatie. I found a Canadian penny. And we'll do the same thing. Where's the light? Can't see that one. What's going on here? Oh, there she is. All right. Let's try this again with Queen Elizabeth. How old do we think this is? We're down to 9 people. Guess how old you think the Canadian penny is? Give you a minute here. I'm laughing at Florida metal detecting. Should have done like Price is Right. Yep. I guess. Well, you wouldn't have been over. Yeah, back in my early days, I used to make the envelopes that I would send my things out of wallpaper samples, and I actually found one of those today. And I don't remember why I quit doing it, but I may start doing that again once I've used up my supplies. Yeah, one guess. One guess only. Yeah, I know that he was being funny when he said the 1901. He knows it's only one. He was just being a smarty pants. Okay, we got 9 folks in here. Closest without going over. There's 1, 2, 3. James, you only get one guess, honey. It'll be the first one that came across on mine, which is 45. So we got Furry, Lucky James, Florida Detecting, Archaeology Mikey. Hey, Annette. We're guessing the date without going over of what we think this Canadian penny is. We're giving away a pair of horseshoe earrings. They are on 925 wires. We can assume that they're really 925. They better be. And the horseshoes themselves are silver plate. And okay, everybody in that's wanting to be in. All right, let's flip the queen over. She's probably rolling in her grave that I'm doing this. And see what year this is. 1983. Okay, I think Archaeology Mikey got it right on the nose. Yep, Archaeology Mikey. I'll just put that in your envelope, Mikey. And by the way, I don't know if I mentioned this. Mikey's mom will probably like the earrings. You're also going to get the penny and that 1935 silver quarter. William E. Dang, I need glasses. So there you go, Mikey. You got the silver quarter, the Canadian penny, and a pair of horseshoe earrings for your mom. And I will put that in your envelope because I'm working on. I got to finish up your mom's necklace, and I have something else here in an envelope for you. I've been kind of waiting until you were done with school. He doesn't always guess right. And when he's wrong, he's usually really wrong. Oh, speaking of Mikey and guessing, don't forget to go over to the main page of the channel and find the little short video where you place your guess for how much money is in the penny box. Now, bear in mind that penny box is the size of a shoe box. A lot of you are under guessing. I'm going to give you that hint. You have until the end of April to make your guess. I've already started rolling those up, and it is a chore, believe me. I hate rolling coins. Let me find a pen. Put this so I don't mess up. I have so much stuff on my desk. We are working on moving things from the old computer to the new one. But now that we've taken a lot of stuff off the old one, it's working much better. So I'm going to end up with 2 computers, which is good, which is really good. But I won't have to have them both set up on the same desk. One of them I'm just going to make as a personal computer, and the other one's going to be for my videos and my YouTube stuff. And that way we can not overload either system. I'm labeling Mikey's envelope here real quick. And I need 2 phones. I need another phone just to put all my medical things on one phone, because I get so many junk calls and stuff, and it's a mess. All right, I got an envelope over here that says Mikey on it. All right. Put that in there. Yeah, I'm working on stuff to mail out. Thank you again to Florida for sending over some postage money. That helps me get these things out. I got a couple I'm holding on to. Mikey's, I'm waiting for him to finish school. Doug Harding, I'm waiting for him to, he's moving this week. So I don't want to send anything to him until he gets settled in, because we don't want it floating around. And I only usually send out at the first of each month. Scam calling months, don't have any apps that block them. Well, I get them all the time, Mikey, because they're not really scam calls that I'm getting as much as I'm getting a zillion calls trying to get me to change my Medicare, Medicaid health insurance stuff. They have a certain window of time each year where you can switch to a different policy. And I have a phone number that is not from the area that I live in because I kept my old number. And so I'm getting calls trying to sell me insurance in a state I don't even live in. And I get 10, 15 of them every day. And then, of course, I also get the trying to sell me a warranty on my car scam. And that one's really funny because my car has 247,000 miles on it and is going to be headed to the junk yard pretty soon because it can't really be repaired much anymore. I just keep dumping coolant in it and driving it up the street. But it's not going to Michigan with me, unfortunately. I was hoping I could take it back to Michigan and take it back to the same car lot that I bought it from and see if the guy'd buy it back. But it's not worth taking back up there. So right before I move, it'll go to the junkyard. No, it is actually a 2005 Chevy Malibu Max. They only made the Max for, I think, 5 years, from 2004 to 2009, something like that. I hate seeing it go. I mean, I paid $1,300 for it back in 2014. And I really haven't put that much in it, except I will say, in the last year I've had to put money in it, but it's been a really, really good car. It's basically a Malibu with a hatchback. A really cool car. And yeah, well, that's what I'm going to do, William, because I just put, like 6 months ago, a brand new radiator, a brand new fan. So those parts are good. The suspension is crap. There is no car in the world that ever came out of the state of Michigan that does not have crappy suspension, because Michigan has the worst roads. Their roads are so bad that the only people driving their car in a straight line are the drunks, because they're too stupid to swerve to miss the potholes. Normal drivers in Michigan look like they're running figure eight. I also have not one but two spare tires for it. And the reason for that is I needed to replace a rim and found out that used the rims for that car, the cheapest one I could find was $85. Well, I was lucky enough to find one of those cars in a you-pull-it junkyard down by Winston-Salem, North Carolina. And when I went down to, he told me he'd sell me one for $25. So when I got down there, the car that was there was pretty well stripped, but it was the same year as mine and had the same rims and everything. And he ended up giving me both of the two remaining rims for $25. Well, knowing that the cheapest one I found online was $85, that was a heck of a deal. So I do have the extra rims sitting in there. Hey, Mike the Greek. And so, it does have a lot of good parts, but it also has a lot of crap parts. But I hate to let it go. When I got it, it had 209,000 miles on it, and now it's got 247,000, and I only paid $1,300 for it. So I got my money's worth out of it. But I wish I could get another another one, and they don't make them anymore. So once I get to Michigan, I'll be car shopping again. I know a lot of people up there, so I'll find something. I'll find something to drive. He had children tenders tonight, Mike. I think he had children tenders and fries. Yep, children tenders and fries. I was right. Hi, David. We're like right at the end of the show. Y'all always get your time zones. Well, I'm sitting at an awkward time actually for this show. The 6 o'clock time is, yeah, Mike. One time, Mikey meant to write that he was having chicken tenders, and his autocorrect changed it to children tenders. And we haven't let him live that down yet. That was a couple of years ago. Yeah, that autocorrect got him good that night. he was, everybody was cracking up. Yeah, that was one of the best autocorrect ever. I don't care if it'll warm my butt or not, Mikey, as long as it'll get my butt from point A to point B without breaking down. Uh, a lot of times in the winter months in Michigan. Thank you, Rhonda. A lot of times in Michigan when it was snowing, even though I had a car, I would call the little bus and ride it instead because I mean, I can drive in snow and I have driven in some terrible snow, but I am more afraid of black ice than snow because I did spin my car and almost went into the Flint River. Uh, Ended up backing over a little tree and hurt my back. But I had a choice of the ditch or the Flint River, and I figured if I went in the Flint River, it would be, I would be eaten up by all the chemicals and crap in there and nobody'd ever find me. So I chose the ditch. Anyway, probably Monday night, y'all gonna see something you may not want to see. What was that line from Dirty Dancing? The kid that worked at Kellerman's was telling Baby, sometimes in this life, you see things you might not really want to see. Well, Monday night's going to be one of those because I threw down the gauntlet the other night and said that if anyone sent me a hat or a t-shirt or clothing item from their channel, that I would come back on camera wearing that item and help promote their channel. Well, I believe I have a t-shirt on the way from Florida Metal Detecting. So if that is here by Monday night, which it should be, I'm probably going to scare you all because I will be coming back on camera and you'll get to see. Those of you who've been on my channel for a long time remember me with waist-length blonde hair. Well, that's not me anymore. I don't look anything like that. And I thought about putting on the wig they got me when all my hair fell out. But then I decided, no, if I'm going to go back on camera, I'm going to let you all see what has happened to me over the past year and a half. Because I still have people out there that are saying I'm not really sick and I'm just making all this up. Honey, nobody would make this crap up. Nobody would want the things I have. May have a job that the guy wants to give me at Equinox 800. That is a fabulous unit. That's like a $1,100 detector. That is a top of the line baby. Great unit. If everything works on it, that's a good paycheck, baby. Even used. Go look on eBay under the sold items and see what they're selling for it. That is an excellent, excellent detector. I would love to have that detector. I have the poor man's version. Yeah, Equinox 800 is an awesome, awesome detector. A lot of the big name hunters use the Knox. It is waterproof, but the one downfall I have heard about them is sometimes they have a tendency to leak underwater. A lot of people have had that issue with them, but it's still a top of the line detector. I don't know what the job is, but to buy one of those new, pretty pricey unit. Oops, I was looking for my Calico catalog here. That's not it. I keep pulling out coin collecting ones instead of Calico. I don't know where my Calico book is. But yeah, that is a super duper machine. Let's go over here and look and see what a used one costs, just for the heck. I don't know if I'm assuming he's giving you a used one, but okay. Okay, a used one on eBay is running about $600. That's used. Let's see what a new one is. $998 from the Detector Warehouse. $900, $955. So right around $1,000 for a new one, and used ones seem to be running about 600. So, and of course it depends on what is coming with it, but still, top of the line machine. It just sits in his garage. Yeah, I was just talking about that with my brother today, about how I always tell people, unless you know you are seriously going to be interested in metal detecting, don't buy the most expensive machine, because this is what happens. Somebody will get one, and then they go out and they do it, and they're impatient because they think the machine is just going to be point and click, and they don't want to learn the VDI numbers, and they don't want to learn the settings, and they get frustrated with it, and they sit it in the corner of their garage, and they never use it again, and there's $1,000 door stop. So, if somebody's going to give you one, that's a whole nother thing. But well, he's about right. If it's only been used a couple of times, it's a 10K job, and he wants to take $1,000 off. New, the machine is worth $1,000. The best thing I can tell you to do is ask him if you can take it and have somebody that knows about the machine to take a look at it. Now, if it's only actually been used twice and he has all of the things with it, you know, the headphones and all that stuff, then maybe $1,000 off the job would be no, not for what he's looking at, Furry. He's looking at a top of the line machine. No, they're not quite that cheap, Mike. I don't know where you're finding one for 810, because I just looked up the prices and they were $899 to $1,000 new and 600 used. But like I said, it also depends on what does he have with it. Does he have the headphones? Does he have extra coils? Well, that's what I was just getting into, Annette. Ask him if you could take it and have somebody give you an estimate on it. I would not give $1,000 on it. Okay, multiple coils, pinpointer, headphone. See, that stuff all counts. That pinpointer alone is over $100. The headphones are about $100. Coils, $150 each. If he's got the carbon fiber shaft, that's another $100 and something. You have to look at all the things that come with it. Well, I've looked at ones at Goodwill. You're not going to. It would be a very rare day that you would find an Equinox 800 at the Goodwill, because they do have a pretty good turnover price. Yeah, see, that's a whole nother issue there. But a lot of the older detectors, Mikey, the dust thing is going to be minimal. That's really not a big issue. Here's what you really need to do, Mike. You need to get an inventory of everything that is coming with it. Now, the fact that how many coils he has, what coils does he have, make sure the pinpointer works, but ask him if you can take this out and try it out. And that's just to make sure you can go through it and hit all the different settings and make sure that it's electronically functional. But I don't think, you know, it's kind of an iffy situation. If you can find somebody in the area, somebody else that has one that can try it out for you, that would be excellent. Like if I was going to look at that deal right now, I would go get my friend Tony, because he owns a Knox 800 and he would be able to take it through all its paces, you know, all the different frequencies, all the different settings, and make sure that everything is electronically functional, make sure all of the coils are working properly. But I don't, even at that, I don't think I would go over 800, which, you know, I'm saying 600 for the machine and then another couple hundred for the accessories. But those accessories are pretty expensive. You can go over to, like, there's a link at the top of my page to go over to Kellyco and just search on the Kellyco site for Equinox 800, and it'll bring up all those different accessories and show you how much each one of those costs. And you can, yeah, I would take a test drive, but more importantly, I would try to find somebody in your area that owns one that knows the machine really well that can go with you for that test drive or do the test drive for you. If the guy's not willing to do that, I would question it. If he is more than willing to do that, I'd say he's probably being on the level with you. But it could be a good deal. It just depends on, like I said, what all is coming with it. If all of those accessories work, he's probably got $700-800 worth of accessories, and it would still be worth it. As long as the machine is working, that's what I would do. Annette, as far as spending that much money, most of the people that buy those plan on using them every day. They're not the kind of detector that you would buy to use 2 or 3 times a year. Unfortunately, what happens is you have people that get on these different channels and they're like, oh, that sounds great, I want to try that. And everybody tells them, and they'll ask the innocent question, what is the best detector? Well, it depends on what you're going to do with the detector. How often are you going to use it? What are you going to use it for? Do you want to go in the water with it? If you're just going to be a hobbyist that goes maybe twice a month, you can find gold with a $40 metal detector. My first gold ring I found with a $40 bounty hunter gold digger. I still have that detector. I also have a bounty hunter Discovery 3000 that belonged to my brother. Mikey has, did you get the 600 or the 800, Mikey? Mikey's got a really good detector, but Mikey is going into archaeology and his is an investment. And he's going to be doing a lot of different terrain. And yeah, the 600 is really, really good machine. Also, some of the best detectorists out there use the 600. The fundamental difference between the 6 and the 8 is that the 600 has does not have the gold capabilities as far as gold nuggets and that kind of gold hunting that the 800 has. Most people are never going to use that. They're not going to be going up in the mountains looking for gold mines. So yeah, water problems are the one thing that I have heard about the Equinox in general. But if you're just going to be a hobbyist, you only need, like I have the Simplex Plus, the Nocta Macro Simplex Plus. It's a waterproof machine. We call it the poor man's Equinox. And see, that's why I started, and that is because I needed exercise, and I'm not one of those people that just wants to walk around and just walk. I need more mental stimulation than that. And I was living in a senior place trying to get these other people to get up off their butts and move around. And I had a couple extra. I had the 2 bounty hunter detectors as well as my Simplex, and I would try to get these people to get up and move their little fannies around a little bit. And it's the same thing here, only now I'm the one that's sick. I wanted to go today because the weather was beautiful, but this thing I got growing in my head decided that it wanted to start throbbing, and So I ended up taking medicine and lying down instead. But that's my primary reason. And like I said in a previous show, there's a blog on the Kellyco site about uh, metal detecting for seniors where they interviewed me and talked about exercise and mental health and all that good stuff. So, but yeah, on the Mike the Greek thing, if Mike is still in here, uh, I'll email you about how I think you should handle that. But uh, if the machine tests out and if it has all those accessories with it, it might be worth the trade off. But I would have someone really, really test it out. I would test it with every coil. I would test it in every setting. And here's a little tip that I gave somebody who was going to look at a detector that someone told them had only been used a couple of times. Pretty much every detector is going to have a coil cover on the coil. Be sure that you pull the coil cover off. If there's a bunch of dirt and crap under that cover, you know they've used it more than twice. If it's spotlessly clean, either A, they haven't used it, or B, they're conscientious enough to keep their equipment in good shape. Yep, I don't know how old you are, Annette, but I just turned 70. And I don't know if anybody else in here watches Digging with Deej, but Deej is about my age, and she's up in Michigan. And yeah, but Annette, a lot of people don't, and that's how you can catch. Look at the bottom of the coil cover and see how scratched up it is. That's another one. But make sure you pull that cover off, because if there's crap under that cover, it takes a while to get stuff under there. So if you pull that off and there's dirt or sand or mud, you know, A, the machine hasn't been taken care of very well, and B, it's been used more than twice. Uh, so that's just another one. I try to clean mine after every use. Now, this past Saturday, I did not clean mine because I got very sick when I was out in the field, and I was lucky to get my little self home. I was very, very sick. And so actually that is on my list of things to do tomorrow, is to clean my machine and put it back on the charger. Yeah, see, I'm not in salt water up here, but I was when I was in South Georgia and Florida. And I would shower mine before I even left the beach. If there was a shower there, I would go and rinse the primary sand and salt off before it ever went back in my car. And then when I got home, I would properly clean it, because, yeah, you can't leave the salt water in there. But, yeah, I used to piss people off at the beach, especially Reddington Beach and Indian Rocks. I pissed some people off at Indian Rocks Beach because I was showering my metal detector and they wanted to shower, and I'm like, well, you know what? The water's not just here for you. So I just finished hosing it off, and I had a little towel that I kept in my bag, and wipe it off and put it in the car, and then clean it better when I got home. But I just didn't want to track the sand and junk into my car. Oh yeah, that's another thing. And this is a little tip, a little tip, and this is going to be a pun. Um, Pinpointers aren't cheap, and I've seen people do all sorts of things trying to protect the tip of them. Gig Master does this thing with baking soda and super glue, but you can buy a protective cap, a pack with like two or three of them in for under $20 to put on the end of your pinpointer, and it will keep your pinpointer tip from getting worn down from repeatedly pushing it into the dirt. And don't dig with your pinpointer. If you don't, especially if you don't have a protective thing on the end, because you will wear through that plastic on the end of your pinpointer and then it's useless. It's so just go ahead, invest in the little caps. They don't cost that much. And periodically take that little cap off when you're cleaning it. And they're a little hard to get off, but take it off anyway and make sure there's no sand down in there. But yeah, those caps don't cost that much, and it will save you. Like I have two pinpointers. One of them's a cheapo, and the other one is a waterproof Garrett. And that Garrett, pretty pricey to replace. I won't get another one when this one is worn out. They make a little plastic cap. It's a little protector cap. Let me see if I can find them real quick. I think I got mine on Amazon or eBay. I'm gonna look it up real quick. Yeah, there was four of them in a pack for $7.99. I'll bring it up here on the screen for you. They may have them at Calico. If they do, you can go through the link on my channel page, and order it from there, and they'll send me a little bit of money for the channel. But we're going to look at eBay, at Detector Warehouse. I may have actually gotten mine from Detector Warehouse. But yeah, this is what we're talking about. They're just a little cap. They fit right on the end of your pinpointer. Yeah, basically a condom for a pinpointer. Oh, I'm glad Dawn the metal detective wasn't in here. When we went to the beach hunt in Florida, unfortunately, that's what Dawn found. A used one. That was very nasty. But yeah, this is the little device. It just goes over the end, and it fits on there very snugly, so you don't have to worry about it falling off. And I'm still using the first one. I think I gave a couple of them away, and I have one spare. But yeah, it's just a little cap. And basically that's what it is, but it protects the end of your pinpointer from getting worn through, because if you get a hole in the end of that pinpointer is going to be dead. And we're all guilty of pushing the dirt around with it and hitting rocks with them. And I mean, it happens. So there, that's basically your thing. For under $10, you get four of them. Versus spending $100 and something to replace that piece of equipment. Another thing that I've invested in, I got at the dollar store. Yeah, Mikey, I'll send you the link. They're definitely worth the investment. Like I said, I'm still using the first one I put on there. They're very, very good investment. Another thing I bought at the Dollar Tree, I went in there and got some cell phone screen protector, the clear protector that you would put over your phone screen to keep it from getting scratched or broken. And I found a pack in there that had like a grid type backing on it. And I just measured my screen on my detector, went over, drew the line on the grid side, cut it out, used a plastic card to smooth it over my screen, and my screen is protected from scratches and all that possible breakage. And mine got broken anyway, but not because, it was because somebody slammed a door hard into it. But those are two real cheap things that will protect expensive pieces of equipment for not very much money. But yeah, you should definitely look at getting those, because like I said, if you punch a hole in the end of that pinpointer just from wear and tear, it's done. And I have seen, that messy thing of putting the super glue on the end and using the baking soda, it will work, but it's ugly, and it'll get hard as a rock. But I just prefer this because this doesn't cost very much, and it's non-toxic and takes about 2 seconds to put the thing on there. So why would you go through all that other crap when this only costs $8? Let me see if I can post this. This is a big long link, but it's not going to work as a link, I don't think. I'll have to mail that to Mikey. All right, I tried. Ear protection, if you get the Mind Lab. Ear protection? I've never had to have any ear protection. I don't have a Mind Lab. I guess that's why. Is it that bad that you've got to do that? I apologize for this link. It did not fit. Let me get that out of there. I tried. I didn't realize it was going to be that long. See where that goes. Yeah, that short link right there goes to it. So if you follow that link, Mikey, the little short one that's just, that will take you to where you need to be. Yeah, I don't know anything about any coil ears. Yeah, I'm working on getting all the stats on the Xterra, and I was going to do that this week, but I'm waiting for some clarification. Oh yeah, I did see that. Also, the connector for the battery charger on the Equinox seems to have some issues where people think they've got it charging and then they'll find out it wasn't fully connected. Hey, Practical Ken, welcome, welcome. So anyway, that's about all I got. I hadn't planned on staying on this late, but we had some good discussions tonight, I think, and I hope I gave you some ideas on some low-dough maintenance things for your uh, detectors, and also for some ideas of what to do with all the stuff you come dragging home with them. I'm going to have to run because I am about 45 minutes late taking my meds, and I don't want any more issues. Dirty mind. Yeah, I started out with a $40 bounty hunter gold digger that was given to me by my sister, and I found gold with it. Within like the first month I had it, I found gold. So I have no complaints. And then I got a Garrett Ace 300, and I had it for about 2 months, and it was okay. I liked it. But then they came out with the Simplex, and I wanted something that was waterproof because where I lived, almost every day I would get caught in rainstorms or, just trying to run back to the car and get the machine. I would have the machine stuffed under my shirt, trying to keep it dry. And I decided I wanted something that was fully waterproof, not just a waterproof coil. And I got the Simplex and went back over some places I had been to with my Garrett, and the Simplex was just so much more comfortable for me. It weighs the same as the Ace 300, but the weight distribution was different. And I ended up putting that Garrett right back. I cleaned it all back up, put it back in the box, and sold it on eBay. Used that money to pay off the Simplex. And now I've got all the coils for the Simplex. I've got a carbon fiber shaft. The only thing I really didn't like about the Simplex, I didn't like that plastic lower shaft. The one thing I do wish, but I knew was not going to be, is when they are coming out now with the new Simplex, they are on a different frequency, so you cannot use the coils from the Simplex Plus on the new Simplex machines because of the frequency change. So that is a little bit of a downfall, and so I'm going to be sticking with my standard Simplex Plus because I have everything that goes with it, thanks to a channel donation on the first anniversary of my channel. Those of you who know Muscle Shell, he was going to get me a new detector, but I had already gotten one, so he got me the coils and things that I needed. So anyway, that is one downfall, is that the coils and stuff are not transferable. What I'm waiting to see now is when the new Simplex machines are fully in the market, will the price of the original Simplex Plus drop? If it does, it's going to blow it all. To me, it already blows the Ace and the Apex from Garrett out of the water. But if those prices drop, it's still going to be the best thing around. I love my Simplex. I do. And when they did the software update on the Simplex, they took it from one park mode. It originally had all metal, field, park, and beach. Well, when they did the software upgrade, you got Park 1 and Park 2, which does make a difference. Yeah, my primary magnet fishing place and one of my primary metal detecting places is closed right now. It's a great big park in an adjacent county. It has walking trails and it has springs and streams and all kinds of stuff. And they're kind of ruining the park because they decided they wanted to put a water feature in, which means they're paving over a lot of it to put this stupid water thing in. And they've had the park dug up and closed for several months now. I want to sneak in there while it's dug up, but I don't want to get in trouble. And I don't want to encourage anybody to trespass. But boy, I'd like to go in there while they've got it all graded up, see what's out there. But yeah, I like to metal detect and do a little magnet fishing in that stream because little kids throw a lot of stuff into that stream. Anyway, I'm going to run, folks, because I really do got to take my meds. And I thank you all for being here. If you have any questions about anything we discussed tonight, feel free to send me an email. I'll do the best I can to try and answer them for you or send you to somewhere where you can get an answer. Well, right now they are posted. That's the problem, Annette. Because the construction equipment is out there and everything. So right now they've got, park closed signs everywhere. So I can't really go out there legally because they've torn down the restrooms. They're going to rebuild the restrooms, and it would be dangerous for people to go out there and try to play. Like right now, they have all the stuff around the tot lot is all dug up and the parking lot is dug up, so they don't want people out there. Normally, it would be fine for me to go out there, but because of the construction, they do have it specifically posted as no trespassing. So darn it. And it's been that way for months, and it's one of my favorite places because I always find stuff, and it's so big that I still, in 2.5 years living here, have not covered the whole thing. It has everything from walking paths to baseball fields to frisbee golf course, tot lots, streams. I mean, it's a really, really cool place, and they've got it all dug up. They're ruining it, and I'm very sad. But the other option, for a while they were talking about selling it and building a Walmart there, so I guess I'm happy we're getting to keep any of the park. Alrighty, gang. Like I said, if you got any questions you think I might be able to answer, feel free to send me an email. I told the bot to post my email address, and it did. It's pretty easy. It's susieq96@gmail.com. And if you think of anything else to do with the things we find, post them in the comments. And we'll see y'all later. Thank y'all for being here. Bye, everybody. Y'all are groovy. M3 says meow.